Hey everybody, Digital Unity here, and welcome back to the Botto Daily Challenge. Today's daily was FUD sang on Sunken City, and unfortunately, I have had to maliciously destroy the audio recording that I had for this run, because it sounded like I was recording through a tin can phone with bread stuffed in either end. It was not good. So we're post-commentating 4 successful runs of this challenge today. There were 4 PBs along the way on this lovely challenge. I love FUD sang, which is why I was so committed to getting a good time on this daily. I mean, I'm the FUD sang guy. What am I supposed to do? Just not get a really good time on this daily? I think I'm very happy in retrospect with the time that I do get at the end of the day for this one. There are some things that I would improve, but this first run is far from where we end, ladies and gentlemen. This first run is very wide and a little bit crude, but it is successful. I don't know if this is the first run that I got of the recording session. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I think there were a lot of failed attempts. Normally I would be editing this right now and processing it and cutting it up and finding the best clips where I crashed and turning those into funny moments or into a montage or anything like that. I can't do that with audio that sounds that bad. It's not possible, and I don't have the time to re-record the whole thing, you know, beat a 220, I'm not going to spoil it. Especially if I'm going to mispronounce the title. Mispronounce the number. But I don't think I've got time to beat the time that I got without wasting a lot of time. It's late, I don't want to be up, keeping everybody awake, and I definitely don't want to be rambling for the next several hours into the microphone, unsure of when the session will end. So we're post-commenting, and it's going to be nice. On this asphalt section you see me on, you want to cool down there so that you can maximize your boost through doors. And it was at this point that I realized I forgot to bring Bullseye Navror along as an AI companion. Normally, when you are doing runs of Sunken City or Aqualaris Classic, you bring along an AI to open the doors. Because they activate the door trigger. When they activate the door trigger, the doors are put back into the same place every time from where you leave them. And it just so happens that the same place every time from where you leave them is far superior for lines. Like it just allows you to draw a straighter line from apex to apex, which this game works that way. In case you haven't heard me say it 1,000 times, you don't lose speed in the corners. See me coming up this uphill here into the figure 8 for a second time. Lines are a little crude, a little wider than they need to be, but overall not bad, with a 1:30.54 second lap. At the time, I thought that was a pretty good second lap, but at the end of this, you're going to see that there's some lap times that get a little bit faster than that. A little nuts. Cooling down on the asphalt section again. Boost there to check my heat, I believe is what I was doing. Through the optimal door line that we'll be getting every time once we have Bullseye coming along with us. Into shorter cut and much smoother that lap than the last. Keeping lines a lot tighter this time around. Ooh, but not tight enough. Oh, definitely not tight enough. Whoa! I would have gotten that boost hold, but I dropped it so that I didn't smack into the fence and die. I didn't want to have that going on today. Around the arena, coming out right here. Brief bit of time to repair in case the small drop there damaged that section of the engine. Luckily it didn't, but I've had some bad luck before. I didn't want to end up with red damage that close to the end of the race. Very wide on the first part of that, and serviceable on the second. A crash, but it's across the line with a 129.72 final lap for a 4:32.35 time. Now, at the time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to leave this here. Checked the leaderboard, there was barely anybody on it, and I felt like I was, second place overall to the fastest man in the speedrunning scene, but I thought I could go lower. And I can go lower. I do go lower. But, boy, this is going to be a monument to my hubris, this episode. It took me 2 hours to get the time that I eventually end up happy with. This time, I'm not happy with for a couple of reasons that I will detail at the end of it. Or rather, as it's happening. That's one of them. That bonk that cost me that boost was not ideal. It wasn't a huge issue, but I was disappointed with it. That was okay. It was a good shorter cut there. Down this hill a lot tighter to the inside than before, but still kind of wide. That was much cleaner than the first time, though. That was much cleaner indeed. Didn't get that boost hold, but it's not too big of an issue. Boosting around here, that is another reason that I was not happy with this particular time. Into this downhill. Dropped the boost specifically so I wouldn't get popped up there. I should have mentioned that as it was happening, now that's delayed by a couple seconds. Into this uphill a little wide. Read catastrophically wide. Coming into the figure 8 and out of it for a 1:31.16 first lap, already a second faster than the first time I put up. Once again, cooling on the asphalt section here to keep everything nice and clean going into doors, which are now set properly because we brought Bullseye along this time. You'll see position 1 of 2. A very clean second lap shorter cut. Could be a little bit more free of bonks, but it doesn't have to be. It's just good enough. Smooth through there. Gets the boost hold. Making good time so far. Ooh, very close to that. That's good. That's a very good thing to see. I don't remember getting that close to that fence there. No pop-up again. Very nice. Getting the boost uphill. And I think I started that too early, and that's part of one of my problems with this run, is that I did not manage my heat very well in that part. But it is a 1:29.60 lap. Coming into lap 3 with decently high heat. Keep that inside line as best we can. Getting it very tight to the inside there. Coming down through doors, which is again right-left because it was right-left last time. Then Bullseye changed it back to right-left for us after we were through. Nice one. This was atrocious. That set of bonks cost me an awful lot. I was really disappointed with that. It hurt my soul. It did not spark joy. Around the arena, making sure to take a little bit of time to cool off, and then trying to keep at least on the right-hand side of the central line on the road. Did get the pop-up that time, less than ideal. A little wide there, but could have been worse. This is terrifying coming up on Bullseye at this section. The AI extends infinitely upward and downward. Good, we did not crash into... Oh gosh! Very nerve-wracking ending to that lap. I forgot how nerve-wracking that ending was. But a 4:31.74 is a decent time. But we can go lower. Successful attempt 3 probably happened about an hour, maybe an hour and a quarter in, I'm not sure. I wasn't keeping track of the length of these recordings or where I was in them this time. I felt like clock watching wasn't becoming of me anymore. First doors is always left side, right side. Good boost holds there into shorter cut, very clean through there. This run, I believe, is very clean through a lot of places. Oh, you can see I'm taking that line much tighter than I used to. Gets that boost hold, bonks and loses it, pinballing and losing seconds. I don't know how many seconds I lose. I think that was like probably about a half a second of time loss on that alone. Rocketing downhill, not very bad there. In fact, quite good. This final uphill. And then into the figure 8. Wide on the first part. Serviceable on the second. Boosting out for a 130.55. Yeah, I think that probably did cost me, combined with all the other lines being wide, maybe about a half a second. I get that boost there specifically so that my heat is in a consistent place, and I get to boost all the way through the downhill and then through the uphill without losing heat for long enough to underheat. Twice a very clean shorter cut. Very nicely done through there. Gets the boost hold and actually uses it well. Rounding this corner and boosting again. Right there it is. Should talk a little bit about why I like FUD saying, I guess, while the third lap goes on, after we get through this final uphill tunnel. Bit wide there, bud. Past me, you should have known better. Not as bad. Still serviceable.
It's a new lap record.
That is the fastest lap time I will set in the entire session. A 128.88. Incredible work. I was chasing that lap time again for the remainder of the recording session, and I just couldn't eke another one out. I don't know what happened that I was blessed with that time, but boy howdy was I. Anyway, why I like FUD Sang. An essay by Digital Unity. That sound effect right there, that "dah" noise, is one of the reasons I like FUD. His model is so funny. Like, his knees bend backwards and sometimes become disconnected from the rest of him when he's doing certain animations. His eyes are, I mean, they jut out of his head in like the weirdest way that I've ever seen, and the way that they undulate as he moves is like, it's like he's got secondary motion for his eyes. What poor creature has to suffer with secondary motion for vision? I feel a little bad. Well, that was very nice on that uphill. We don't know what crimes FUD committed to be serving 4 life sentences on Uvo 4. That is part of why I felt like I had to redo the run again. That moment of chickening out of those boosts and not holding one through the very end there cost me probably about a second. I ended up with a 430.07 for the for this run here. This is run, I think 3. Is this run 3 or is this run? Yeah, that was run 3 ending there. Yeah, 430.07, and I knew I could have gone faster. So this is the final run of the session. I'd been recording for like 2.5 hours. It was dinner time. I wasn't like tired or letting that stop me or even that upset, but I was beginning to tilt a little bit for stuff like that. Dropped boosts to basically nothing. Things that I had held boosts through before were suddenly causing me strife. It was very, very disorienting. Through there and around with a good shorter cut on lap 1. A little wide on the downhill, but not too bad. Certainly serviceable. Very wide through that turn. Ooh, not good. But the boost hold is good. Around the arena, second boost coming in to get through the last part. A little wide there, into the downhill, keeping that very clean. The final uphill tunnel. Very nice this time. You can see how much I've improved over the course of the 2 hours I was recording. 130.89 first lap. Not the fastest of the session, but certainly serviceable, completely operable, very nice. If I were to do this challenge again, which I don't have the time, unfortunately, I would love to because it's a Fud Sang Gaily, and I love Fud Sang Gailys. Love the way he controls, love the way he looks, love the way he sounds. But if I were to do this again, I would A, make sure that I have the right microphone recording so that you guys can get more of the funny side of me and less of the clinically analyzing side of me. And B, I would probably pay more attention to how far from the inside line I'm getting and try to reduce that. But I think by this point in time I had been bitten by the inside line a few times before. Whoa! Didn't realize I got that close to that. So I was trying to get a run through that I was happy with, as opposed to getting a run that was absolutely perfect and immaculate in every sense. Good job on that second uphill. Finally starting to make sure that the figure 8 stays on the inside line there for a 129.55 second lap. Still chasing that 128, never going to see it again. Very clean through that uphill. Very tight to the inside there, and then into doors for third lap. Excellent work, very well done. A very clean shorter cut. I think that was what I was mostly looking for, was having shorter cut be clean all 3 laps. Engine fire, but it's not an issue because it goes out frame 1, more or less. A little wide there, but it's alright. Final uphill. Bullseye makes me nervous because of where he is, and he does eat my boost, unfortunately, which is part of why this time is not as good as it could have been. Another part is that very unfortunate bonk. That may have well been another 128 lap if I hadn't bonked there. But by this point, I had a 429.93. It was a sub 430 time. I was very happy about that part. And looking back on it, I probably should have been happier about that part. There was a little bit of me that was disappointed that I got that bonk, that I didn't get the perfect run. But this just gives me room to improve this time if we get this challenge again, which, I mean, we've seen Bumpy on Scrappers twice, so who's to say that we won't get FUD on Sunken twice? It was a 429.935, which means that 93 was the highest possible 93 it could have been. But it was an alright time.
You race pretty good, no doubts there, huh?
And that's going to do it for today's daily challenge. Thanks for tuning in, and if you like challenges like these and want to try them out for yourself, come on down to the Star Wars Episode 1 Racer Discord. We get a new challenge every day in the Bado's Junkyard channel, and I make a video on it every day, so if you don't want to miss a beat, consider subscribing. And you can always leave a like or a comment to let YouTube know that I am making good content that people like to watch. And I believe that, and you believe that, and everybody who's anybody should believe it too. And once again, the tournament qualifiers have finally wrapped up, which means it's time for the bracket, ladies and gentlemen. This is where it all gets real, and I hope you'll tune in to support me in the lower bracket, because I did make it. I did actually manage to qualify. I'm very happy, I'm very pleased, and I am so looking forward to it. The bracket is finalized, everyone's seated. It's just a matter of scheduling those sweet, sweet tournament matches. I'll be keeping everybody up to date with that in the community tab. Until next time, I've been Digital Unity, and this has been me trying to cope with the fact that my audio was terrible and I had to fix it and post-commentate to actually make anything of substantial value today.